My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is October 25th, 2025. It is 5:13 a.m. So I'm in the middle of editing some videos and I was taking a break, went on Twitter. I gathered some tweets and I want to cover them now before people get up. I know it's a Saturday, but my youngest has a test to go take in about an hour or so. I have to wake him up. So let's get started. First tweet. Okay, Prince Edward beating a dog, the royal family are all vile individuals, perhaps with the exception of Harry, who had the guts to stand up to them. And Harry loves animals. Every time you see him see an animal, you see him cuddling, being like a kid again. Similar to when he was a toddler. Each time he picked up the dog, William made him put the dog down. Okay, so that's the retweet here. Don't know, but he's an animal abuser, and that tells me all I need to know about yet another pervy royal. Wow. That's the image. How long was it? Because those tabloids, they love to hold on to pictures, and then when things starting to get worse, they release it. So I wonder when that picture was taken, if it's recent. Okay, let's see here. A family of sadists. The mountain bass. Okay, so we know about this. You could pause and read. And two previous recording recently, I talk about this. That's regarding the ABC stories. Kate Middleton showing her very spiritual, very intense connection with nature. I spoke about this before when it first came out. I don't mind if people are hunting for food because we need to eat. If it is for food, you're hungry, you need to eat, I'm for that. But if it's for fun, I'm not for it. That's two distinction for me here. But they doing it for fun. So that's that. And we know about this. What else? I think I respond to it. They certainly are, plus self-entitled and money-grabbing perverts. You know what they say about abusers of animal go on to? Nothing will surprise me with them. And this is the thing that I say about the US. If you are, especially dogs, dog abuser, they're going after you. And children. They're all sick. Yep, they are. Someone called the RSPCA. Wow. When people hurt animals, it can lead to other things. The royal family or the mafia destroying people and their wake, even animals are not even safe in their care. Skid Markle, what is that? Had a dog that mysteriously broke both his front leg, and he comment on that. This idiot, I'm gonna have to black this one. It's when a guy broke its leg. Well, they covered that. Let me see, there's one comment here. Spare us with your BS. You are supporting descendant of colonizers. Benefit. Okay, so there's that. I think at first I thought it was one of them. I don't know. I don't remember the full story, but I think Harry and Meghan had covered that already. That's when he was young, and this is something that will. You know what? Let me get. All right. So this is my response to this guy here. It took me a while. So this person put this picture of Harry with the swastikas uniform. Good old Harry. So there's me here. I didn't send it yet. While all parties, William, Kate, Harry, and royal historian Robert Lacey and Netflix are alive, if what was reported regarding that uniform is false, the courts are open to dispute it. Okay? So this is the, let me go on, actually I still have it here. This is what I have put. Okay. In his 2023 memoir Spare, Prince Harry claimed that his brother Prince William and his sister-in-law Kate Middleton encouraged him to wear the swastika uniform. Okay, so there's all the key thing here about the uniform. Okay, so I'm gonna post it and then block it. All right, so let's go to the next tweet. There's one tweet that made me wanted to record right away. It has to do regarding the Queen. They were blaming, I think Daily Fail was blaming or asking who to blame about what's happening with Andrew. That's what makes me want to do the recording right now. Okay, so this is the next tweet. 1,700 people were watching this historic moment. Love that for Charles. Okay, so that's a screenshot. Daily Mail. Watch live King Charles and Pope Leo to pray together in Vatican. Okay, so 1.7 thousand views. You know these people like to do performative. Only there's that, praying away sex scandal, marrying his reign, or asking for pro tips to cover it up. Either way, he's in the perfect place. Poor Pope, actually pray for him to remain strong and be the shepherd his flock deserves moving forward so the sins of the past can be healed. That's blockbuster for him. There were 3 times the view for a mistake Meghan made in her breakfast sandwich. Charles can't win. Love that for him. Or even the psycho friend will get to support King Charles the Cruel. So good. Did he pray to God to return him next life as a tampon living in Camilla's knickers? Let's leave that alone. Next tweet. Okay. The writers of the morning show said, y'all want a drama? Here, damn it. Screaming. Okay, I haven't come across any videos coming from the UK of those morning show. Let's say Jeremy Vine, Good Morning Britain. I haven't come across any of that. So, okay, so there's no comment. So it seems like this is what they're talking about. The scandals of the royal family. Next tweet. This is a TikTok video. All right, let's pause this. So glad our faves are out of there. All right, it's almost 2 minutes. Let's listen. So many young people or newcomers maybe, I don't know, are talking about this. So this is not gonna go quietly. Let's listen.
Okay, so we've all seen this photo before, right? Well, I just learned the context behind this photo, the event that this photo was taken at, and I have to share it with you guys because this is absolutely crazy. So this photo was taken at the 18th birthday party of Princess Beatrice, who is the daughter of disgraced Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. I swear Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew hate their children because what do you mean Harvey Weinstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey are all guests at your daughter's 18th birthday party? And the way they consistently kept their children around predators throughout their whole childhood is just disgraceful. Like, this is a photo of Sarah Ferguson and her daughters with Peter Nygaard. They had their children around Peter Nygaard, P. Diddy, Jeffrey, Ghislaine, Harvey Weinstein. Like, are you kidding me? But anyways, this picture was taken at Windsor Castle on July 15th of 2006 at Princess Beatrice's Victorian-themed 18th birthday party. And just to be crystal clear about something, Princess Beatrice's real birthday is a few weeks after July 15th. It's the beginning of August, so it's a few weeks after her party actually was. So at her birthday party on July 15th of 2006, she was still 17. How could Andrew and Sarah be so bold and brazen to invite him to their daughter's party, knowing crimes were against the same age demographic that both of their daughters fall in? I don't know. The more that I begin to look at Sarah and Andrew, it really feels like they were kind of following in the same footsteps as Glenn and Eva Dubin. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I just thought the origins of that photo were very interesting and you guys would find it interesting as well.
Okay, I find it very interesting that she brought this up, which is true. I know some of you might think I'm giving excuses for the royal family. No, I'm not. Many of these royal family, the blood royals, they just don't know how to say no. They are being managed and controlled by men in gray suit. You know what I'm comparing this to? It could easily be men in gray suit who suggest that this party must be made because it's been about blackmailing. Okay? The men in gray suit, in my humble opinion, had their agenda. That agenda started since the queen father died. So they had their own agenda. They kept their agenda within whatever group of mafias that they have. Okay? So as they are guiding the royal family, okay, they are entrapping them for a moment like this. So they probably suggest that this party must take place and this is who you must invite. I'm comparing this to, for instance, when Harry was gonna get married to Meghan. First of all, Harry and Meghan did not want a huge wedding, but they suggested it and they agree with it. The other thing as well is that Charles wanted someone, one of his circles, to be like to take care of the wedding. What's this guy? What's this guy name? I paused for a second to look for the name. I still can't find it. But look at the screen. This particular person. It's on another video that I have. I can't remember his name. Oh, is it Michael Fawcett? Let me see. I just remember. Let me pause again. Yes, this person. I can't believe I remember it. Michael Fawcett. All right. So that's one of Charles' people. All right. During that time, Harry, where's that tweet? Did I miss it? Okay, I think it's this. Okay. When Harry and Meghan were getting married, like I said, Harry and Meghan did not want a huge wedding, but they persuaded them to do the wedding, the big wedding that we saw. They went along with it. And then you see there's so many other little things, unnecessary nonsense with tiaras, with this and that popped up. Because these people are about framing, okay? Put people in a position where they could use against them in the future, okay? So not only did Harry and Meghan did not want that huge wedding, but they went along with it to satisfy the palace or whatever. And it did bring the country a lot of money. But another thing that happened regarding the reception, Charles wanted one of his friends, I think his name is Michael Fawcett, to take care of the reception. Harry said no. This is where Harry put his foot down and said no. Okay? So a lot of things that happen within the blood royals when they doing things, sometimes is men in gray suit who suggested to them for them to do it. But many of those royals, they grew up in that environment where people telling them what to do. They never stand their ground to say, no, this is wrong. I do not want to do that. So this is what I think happened. Some of you may disagree. I could understand. And I don't even know the truth. Okay, but I would assume this is what happened, and I'm comparing it to what happened to Harry. This is why they do not like Harry. Harry has a mind of his own. He will tell them, no, I don't want to do your BS. Okay, so this is what I asked Google. Did Prince Charles wanted Michael Fawcett to do Prince Harry and Meghan's reception? This is the answer. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, did suggest his former valet, Michael Fawcett, to organize Prince Harry and Meghan's wedding reception. But, this is the key here, the suggestion was rejected by the couple. Okay? Harry and Meghan said no. They'll take care of it themselves. Or whatever it is that happened. This reported conflict was one of several disagreements Harry and Meghan had with more traditional royal staffers during their wedding planning. Michael Fawcett background. Let's look a quick little thing here. You guys could go and check it on YouTube. Google it as well. The same question. Just check it and read it. Okay. Michael Fawcett was known as a long-time indispensable aide and former valet to Charles. He was also an event planner and had extensive experience managing events for the royal family. However, Fawcett has been at the center of several controversies over the years, including his resignation in 2021 as chief executive of the Prince Foundation over cash for honor allegation. Okay, So Charles is keeping corrupt people around him to do his bidding for him. Who knows what else they would have done during the reception to frame Harry and Meghan now, especially with what's happening with the royal family, with Epstein and all of that. Okay? Harry and Meghan's choice. Okay, so let's see here. This will be news to me. I need to do a screenshot of it to keep it for future reference. Because I might forget the name Michael Fawcett again. Harry and Meghan's choice. Harry and Meghan ultimately hired award-winning chef Claire Smith to cater the evening reception at Fragmore House. The couple reportedly sought a fun and quirky celebration that reflect their own tastes, which did not align with the traditional suggestion made by royal aides. Okay? Including that huge wedding that we saw. They forced them to do it. And in the Oprah interview, Harry and Meghan said they did that small little prayer with that Canterbury guy, that priest. Okay, but he never really backed them up with that. But God take care of him anyway. I don't think he's in that position anyway. If you claim to be a presentation of God, but you want do the right thing, to tell the truth, but yet you will go on national television to defend a pedophile. So you should know why. Okay? So Smith later revealed that the couple personally called her to cook for their evening reception and that their menu included upscale dirty burger and pork belly. Okay? So Harry and Meghan rejected Charles' suggestion of, what's his name? Michael Fawcett. And I would 100% bet if Harry and Meghan had agreed for Michael Fawcett to do the reception for them, there was going to be another plan to frame Harry and Meghan, or maybe similar to what happened to Fragmore when the Queen gifted them Fragmore and then there was renovation and they're going to claim all this money, this kind of thing. And then probably now the royal family will use the reception thing as, oh, it costs us so much to do this, so much that. Okay? So that same example where Charles suggested for Harry to use his guy and Harry and Meghan said no, I would assume the same thing probably happened with with that party. It's just very sad to see that those two adults, the parents, did not have a mind of their own to say no. Okay? This is the way that I'm comparing those two. Let's see. Oh, there's no comment. All right. So I took a long time with that. There's no comment to this. Next tweet. And it's the same thing what's happening now from a couple of videos that I did this week where many people were saying how old were the York sisters were going to the States to when Jeffrey Epstein was out of prison and all of that. All this, okay? The parents did not have a mind of their own. Or they probably blackmailed them now that the girls probably were much older. They probably had other things on them to make them be afraid to go. Again, I know some of you will come after me and said, stop making excuses for them. But this is the way the firm operate. Scare tactic. All of this, those scare tactic started since the Queen father died. They've been probably, in my humble opinion, telling the Queen this is how things run. And the Queen never fact-check the men in gray suit or her secretary to see if this is the way things should go. Or perhaps they didn't let her aware this is your duty. You have a right to say no because you are the freaking Queen. So they already put the royal family in a position of, fear, or they have a certain way of doing things when certain things can be broken. Okay? So all of this started way back, and then the men in gray suit inched themselves a little bit at a time. They probably test the Queen a little bit and say, let's see if we tell her this is the way thing goes. And if the Queen double check, they could easily say, oh, my fault. Oh, I didn't know. Or this is what I thought. Okay, a small little thing first to see if they could get away with it and how the Queen will react on their tactic. Maybe the Queen let it go. And then they keep on adding, and they realize, oh, she's not gonna check. So let's change the whole rules and do all of this. Okay? And then when, for instance, when Prince Philip was trying to toughen up Charles when he was young, okay, men in gray suit cut his wing and said, you're not blood royal, even though we know about the cousin type of things, the history, okay? But because Prince Philip was in a position where he didn't have any kingdom. As a matter of fact, Prince Philip had more titles than the queen. They didn't even allow him to be named king because they felt like king is higher than a queen, but they want Queen Elizabeth to be because of the blood, being born in the UK, the blood of the, UK kingdom. So they didn't let Prince Philip be named king. Okay, so all of this play a role. When Philip tried to do something, men in grey suit shut him down because they were the one who's running the show. Okay, so let's leave that alone. Next tweet. Wow, I almost skipped that one. Okay. I had to take today day off when reading Virginia's book. What Epstein and his cohort were doing to her and others young victims were predatory, cruel, and depraved. Okay, I didn't read it, and I don't think I want to read it because if I have to think about this, it will drive me nuts. I was telling my friend I was going to get that book, and she said, won't be harrowing. Maybe I'll check the library. I don't know. I had to stop and think about that and thought maybe it's not good choice to read after all. This is what I think as well. Please read it. Her story needs to be heard. Okay, I will read it with trepidation. It's just that second thought about becoming aware about darker level of evil out in the world. I think she's in the same space as me. When you see the unnecessary pain they're putting on other human beings, I don't know if I could take it. But the news of the day is publicist career change, shaking my head. It's only news for those trying to change the topic. That part, all right, whatever's here. I'm going to read it, but I'm still bracing myself and trying to find the strength. I know it will deeply upset me. Everybody, the squad, yeah, same mindset. It's very hard to stomach. I had to take a few breaks. Wow. I watched Jeffrey Epstein on Netflix a while back. That was so disturbing. I'm reading it too, Jodiva. I don't want to comment based on media talking point. She needs to tell her story, and women needs to support her and listen. It is heart-wrenching, and I'm just entering the Epstein era. Okay, I'm in the middle of it. It's definitely something that you have to take in pieces. Wow. All right, I'll read some more. Maybe it's, depending on how your mental well-being is, you should take a look at it. Virginia Goffrey's book. Okay, I don't think I can bring myself to read it. I don't think I can read such book. I will be too emotional. Okay, I think that's me as well. I got the audio book. I plan to start listening this weekend while doing some yard work. I can imagine what that poor soul went through. I pray she's resting in peace. Joe, I received my copy on Wednesday, and I skimmed through it. Can't seem to pick it back up. Wow. And the majority of the child rapists, after walking around free of judgment or consequences, is infuriating. I bought it but haven't started yet. I watched the doco on, I think, Netflix about Epstein a few years ago, and I had to stop a few times because it was too difficult. Okay, I'm in the middle of it. It's definitely something that you have to take in pieces. Okay, so depending on how your mental well-being is, there's some people who have read it, who, sharing their thought about it. Okay, so it's up to you. I'm not gonna tell anybody to go buy it because I want to support her. Well, she's dead now, but her family and things like that. But my God, I don't want to take myself down with it. All right, next tweet. This is the tweet that made me want to do the video right now, to do the recording. Okay, Mel, is Queen Elizabeth to blame for how Prince Andrew turned out? I don't normally read Kaiser thing. I want to see. She usually highlight the Daily Mail's thing. This part here. I'll leave the link, and then you guys could check it out. Okay, that celebrity's post. All right. She voted yesterday, the 24th. The Prince Andrew, let's pause so I don't get flagged for any videos. I will get flagged. The big, okay, where was it? Okay, start here. The big Prince Andrew news breaking last night is that Windsor Castle removed Andrew's banner, a banner with his coat of arms from the display of St. George's Chapel. The removal of the royal banner is apparently typically only removed in cases of high treason or rebellion against the crown. Very interesting. This is very similar to Andrew relinquishing his honors, like Order of the Garter. Royalists insist that these demotions mean something huge because Andrew loves this kind of flummery, when really the Windsors decided to remove a banner rather than remove sexual predator. Okay? I mean, these are nothing. These are this is why, okay? This is why the royal family take those alphabet letters, those unnecessary thing. You can even, how do you touch, I don't know. They're not like food, air, and water, where things you can live without. These are little nonsense things that they could live without, and this is why they're removing these first, pretending that they are serious, when in fact these things are nothing. All right. Speaking of after days of mainstream political outcry about Andrew, everything is now being quietly taken care of behind the scenes. The Stormy government has shut down a debate about Andrew, his finances, did he? I thought they bought it. Well, the squad did say it's just word salad anyway. His finances, his royal large lease, and his crime. Hilariously, these are not the only machinations from Buckingham Palace. The palace has decided to throw Queen Elizabeth II right under the bus. Even her death, I think they throw her right under the bus. Because Harry and Meghan were having too much positive coverage when they came to the UK for Well Child, and then they went to Germany. No. Let me take it back. Well Child, they canceled it. When they went to the UK for One Young Well, because Meghan was doing a speech, and then went to Germany to the 1 year leading up to Invictus Germany. All of these were positive coverage. Out of nowhere, the Queen died when Harry and Meghan were supposed to go back to the UK to do the Well Child Award. So they had enough. They were going to have a heart attack because too many positive coverage for Harry and Meghan. So they threw the Queen under the bus. This is my perspective. They didn't say it like that, but that's my perspective of the whole situation. And they didn't even let Meghan and to come and see the body, even though Meghan is not blood royal, but whatever. She was, to support Harry. However, what they were able to do is bash Meghan throughout that week of the Queen's funeral. They had pleasure of that. Okay? So that sums it up for you. Go back to some of my videos on PYTE. Let's pause this. Oh my God, too many videos. The palace has decided to throw Queen Elizabeth II right under the bus. Blame Andrew on Queen Elizabeth II. She was the one who indulged him. I mean, they're not wrong. From Genoa's mail column. Okay. So that's where she got that thing here. Let me see what they wrote. Is the late Queen Elizabeth to blame for the horror of Prince Andrew? Did she spoil him so much that he grew up convinced of his own specialness, marinated in arrogance, unable to navigate his cushioned world of privilege? Oh my God, so many freaking videos. Okay, let's move it out of the screen. I just don't want YouTube to flag the video because of this nonsense. Okay, where was I? I guess, okay. Marinated and arrogance, unable to navigate his cushioned world of privilege with even a shred of humility, decency, or common sense. Many mothers have blind spots when it comes to their favorite sons, sparing the rod and spoiling the child to such an extent that they unwittingly raise a monster. The same thing can be said about William as well. Okay, we have videos of William hitting the father behind his head. Princess Diana was the only one who was training him to be somewhat of a human decency, but they got rid of her as well. So wait until I cover my thing on X. Okay, so they all to blame because they're making excuses for them. All of them are to blame. And the ripple effect. From parents to child, and then when that child become a parent himself or herself, the thing transfer. Look at Andrew from and Sarah Ferguson throwing party for their kids, and they inviting pedophile into that thing. Okay, so they all to blame. All right, so we are here. Did that happen here? I'm only asking because there must be some explanation for Prince Andrew's unique loathsomeness, some way of groping through his thicket of thick, his unremitting. Oh my God, I just said a whole bunch of things and the thing did not record. Where was I? Okay. Unable to navigate his cushioned world of privilege with even a shred of humility, decency, or common sense. Many mothers have blind spots when it comes to their favorite sons, sparing the rod and spoiling the child to such an extent that they unwittingly raise a monster. Okay, I said this about William. We have William hitting Charles behind the head. Nobody's stopping him. Okay, the only person who was somewhat training and make William be some kind of human with human decency, they got rid of her. That was his mother. All right. Did that happen here? I'm only asking because there must be some explanation for Prince Andrew's unique loathsomeness, some way of groping through his thicket of thick, his unremitting, clothed arrogance to understand his character and motivation. Giving his elevated position in society, Andrew could have become friends with anyone, but he chose to move in a dark world of seedy billionaires, sex offenders, Chinese spies, wicked pedophiles, sheep pimps, and God knows who else. Okay? This is where I realized the thing wasn't recording. The papers, the reporters in the UK sound like as if this is brand new to the royal family. There's been since the God knows how long about pedophile within the royal family. Okay? Even Charles befriended with, what's that guy? He died. What's his name? Even his mentor, who now passed. Okay, what has to do with some pedophile? What's this guy name? Okay, I don't want to pause and then mess up things. Just look at the screen if I'm able to remember who I'm thinking of. Okay, down in the mess at this unsavoring end of an immoral universe, his playmates were powerful, clever, and wily people who encouraged this pompous dolt to believe he was powerful and clever too. Well, the people around him, men in gray suit, probably prop him up. Okay, make him feel so important that to get him to do all this stuff. And this is not to give an excuse for Andrew. He's an adult. He should have known better. But if he grew up in that infested kind of behavior, and you have people around him propping him up, make him feel so powerful, it's all of them to blame. The reality is that he was only ever a useful idiot to them. There it is. A man who was used and abused and who went on to use and abuse others for his own pleasure. Okay, so to not let, from my point of view, with what I've said, to not let Andrew get off scot-free because he is 100% to blame as well. Okay, the same way whoever was around him to prop him up, give him the idea and all of that. This is who to be friended with. All of these people are to blame. But look at Harry though. Harry, who is much younger than Prince Andrew, was fully aware to not do these things. Okay, so if Harry was over there, they would have been using Harry right now to cover up all of these and throw Harry under the bus. But Harry was well-minded to say, I don't want to be part of this. All right, I am legally obligated at this point to say that Prince Andrew denies the allegation that Virginia Giuffre made against him in her posthumous autobiography and elsewhere, yet the grand old Duke of York, as we now don't know him, has demonstratively lied and lied about so many things that who could possibly believe him now? Perhaps not even his own mother. Okay? Yeah, maybe he went and tell the queen his own version and the queen buy it without any, pushback. Survey after survey. This is what happened when you cry wolves too much. So now that he really needs to tell the truth, who's gonna believe him? Survey after survey revealed that people want Andrew officially stripped of his titles by Parliament and booted out of his grace and favor royal lodge, along with his ridiculous Fabiana of a wife. Day by day, Andrew is slipping away from public view, sunk beneath the weight of his disgrace, now facing a police investigation and possibly further humiliation. Then the police did an investigation, they claimed there was nothing. Or who's gonna believe the police now? People need to look into the police. Why there was nothing came out before they could do a true investigation. People need to investigate the police and find out how come they didn't come out with anything. Why did they let the the first investigation, they threw that away? Why? And then once they find a reason, then they could do a true investigation on Andrew. And you know what needs to be released as well? There was something that after either Prince Philip or the Queen passed, and they claimed that something about Andrew cannot be released until several years. It could be probably after Andrew died. I forgot what it was. And that probably needs to come out. All right, let's finish this. Yet, how did we get here? Even by the blackest standard of the monarchy's black history, while trotting out on the black meadow of royal blackness, do dark sheep come any blacker than Andrew? They may have their faults, but neither his two brothers nor his sister come anywhere close to Prince Andrew on the royal ghastly-ometer. Searching for his good qualities is like panning for gold in a sewer. Try as you might, you are only ever going to end up with dung in your sieve. Surely part of the problem must be that no matter what he did, Queen Elizabeth could see no wrong in her beloved Andrew. Most mothers have a favorite son, and he was undoubtedly hers then, now, and forevermore. Okay, so I wanted to see what was said, especially this part. Okay, usually, oh, there's more. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as that. You guys could finish with it because I'm gonna leave the link in the description. Now back to X. So when I respond to this, I respond based on the caption. Okay, Mel, is Queen Elizabeth to blame for how Prince Andrew turned out? There's me here saying yes and no. I'm sure later on, because right now it's 6 o'clock. Oh shit, it's already 6 o'clock. I need to wake up my kids. It's a Saturday, but he has a test to take. I was focusing on the caption. All right, so there's me here. Yes and no. I've discussed this many times on my channel. This started since Queen Elizabeth II's father died. Men in grey suit kept Queen Elizabeth out of the UK, so the Queen's children can be raised by nannies to shape the kids to be who they are now. Prince Philip tried to do something. They didn't let him for the same reason Prince Philip was not called king. Okay, I was running out of character. All right, so these, you guys should be familiar with this. I've shared this so many times on my channel. You could pause and read. Okay, this is the most important out of all of this. Okay, let me explain this. First image is when the Queen father died. Okay, and this is where I was staying, where the king, Queen Elizabeth father was like somewhat training her and things like that. And this is where Queen Elizabeth had Charles so young. Okay, so this is when, especially this image, you see Charles in the middle as a toddler, and that's when she become queen. And then now, this is the most important out of everything you see on the screen here. Queen was the most well-traveled monarch ever. Why was that? Okay, this is how many miles and different places she visited during her reign. Okay? So they kept her out of the country so nannies, men in grey suit, could train Charles to be the man that he is now. This is my humble opinion about that. Okay? So let's get out of this. Let's see what other people saying. They're saying yes, the Queen is to blame. Yes, indeed, the UK press should just have an interview with Queen Elizabeth II and ask her directly. She's been very vocal about all things Harry and Meghan since her death. So I'm pretty sure she'd be down for a Daily Mail exclusive. This is funny. The Queen died, by the way. This is a joke because lately with different headlines, they keep on saying the Queen this, the Queen that about Harry and Meghan. Okay, so this is why she's saying that. Okay, whatever's on the screen. Let me move this out of there. That was kind of funny. What happened when a parent call a child their favorite? When standard or loose, they get spoiled, while the child ultimately must account for their behavior. If all they know is difference toward them, then it will track into adulthood. No surprise here. Okay, most definitely yes. And the father, he was no better if you go down the rabbit hole. He liked the underground club with young lads and girls. All right, we could blame that part as well, but yeah, least them knew. Great Queen shit parents. No one aside from the nannies and boarding school had to teach these kids. Well, there it is. Nannies and boarding school had to teach these kids. Nannies especially. Who hired the nannies? And who the nannies had to report to? Men in grey suit or the Queen? But you really can't hand off your children like that without consequences. No wonder the Windsors feel entitled to wreck other people's lives. Okay? Charles too. That's right. Charles too. It's a down. This is why I keep on saying the what do you call this? The miracle that happened to Harry, it needs to happen to William kids as well, because I don't see how Harry is able to come out the way that he is. Charles too. Both parents were responsible. She delegates domestic family duties to Prince Philip. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. I gave my reason. I might have to pause. All right, next tweet. Okay. Them, quote, Harry and Meghan are horrible. They hurt the Queen and they must pay, end quote. While their Queen and her son Pedro, like Pedro, the day after Epstein's death. They did what they did and he felt happy. Look at him. He knew what he did. He felt happy. The Queen took care of business and then it was just a bandage. Rejoice, rejoice, my darling son. The nasty man is dead and cannot hurt you. Perhaps he thought the heat was off. The Queen showed her true colors when Diana died and she had to be told to reach out to the people. There's that as well. Makes you wonder, karma. That family is getting beyond a joke. They are getting more like how mafia used to act. I mean, they pretty much are. Poor Epstein will have been so disappointed to be used. Hey, okay, with the Epstein thing, it's much bigger than what you think. Okay, in one video I explain it. Go to yesterday's date, I think. No, I'm editing that. The 23rd. Okay? Go to the 23rd date. In one of those videos, I explain how the Epstein came about. It's a huge investment. Okay? For a certain country. And it's paying off. They're taking, whoever was behind it is taking two empires down at the same time. The UK and the US. With that Epstein thing. Next tweet. Where was Andrew's security detail when he allegedly molested underage girls and participated in orgies with teenagers? Okay, so that's a good question. I think I responded to it somewhere. There's an interview with a former RPO who explained how they broke the rule and allowed girls in after regular working hours. It was during the time he lived, worked in BP. I didn't bookmark it. She's upset that she didn't do it. I read about that, but he traveled RPOs. Did they turn a blind eye when he was mingling with underage girls? Let's see here. There's one comment. Yes. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Apparently, the night he was at Pizza Express, instead of where that photo was taken, all the records his security kept have mysteriously disappeared. How convenient. They were with him. If you listen to the bit about the first time he booked Virginia, the time he sweat all over her while dancing at Temple nightclub. She said he traveled in the car with the... Okay. She said he traveled in the car with his RPOs, but where were they when he was alone with her, and why was no one questioning them about his activities? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wow. They put them in a very odd position, situation. Next door, where do you think? Well, you think part of their duties would be to advise him that that pulling around with someone like Epstein wasn't a good idea. I mean, I don't know what to say here. He'll be fired for impertinent. Good question. So there's all of that. Okay, you could pause and read. Let's move on. Okay. Was the heir planning a takeover yesterday? There's a thanking face here, seeing it was all his mouthpieces who were so excited about a certain royal announcement yesterday when the king was in Italy. Reporters don't just rush to camp outside without being given a tease of what might be happening. Okay, so let's see here. That's from Daily Mail. Mystery of the royal announcement that never was. Media raced to Royal Lodge for statement, only for palace to abruptly insist none was ever planned. There's this here. Thinking deep, smoke and mirrors. Alright, just seen a puff piece about William and Kate and the family and who are due to move into the Royal Lodge. My guess is Andrew has refused to move out and threatened to expose the state of Kate and William's marriage if they force him out. I saw one comment here, but it doesn't appear. It was announcement of Royal Lodge, Andrew's house. I smell blackmail. He threatened Charles and William to reveal everything to the press and was negotiating a deal so he could keep his mouth shut. They reached a deal and there was no announcement. This is what I'm saying. They can't use Harry and Meghan, and especially Harry, because they all overuse Harry's thing and Harry doesn't give a damn anymore. And this is why Spare had to be made, and Harry doesn't care. He put everything out. The only announcement I want to hear is that the feudal monarchy are stepping down with all the hangers on, and all the assets they have will revert back to the people. That'll be good. And I've talked about this before. While they still in control and they see things is going downward, but they've been in that situation so many times and they come back stronger again. So maybe they depending on that. But with this one here, I've said they should make a deal with the government so they could step down, not be in the same position as head, I don't know, whatever the monarchy, constitutional monarchy they have here. Remove them from that, where they will offer a deal. But then again, if you offer a deal and the counter of that probably would be less, I don't know. Unless if the government offered them first, and then they could counter. But if they are the one who started first, the government might think that, okay, they are in a very weak position. They don't see any way out. So they, you know how deal goes. All right, let me read what's on the screen. Is really trying to oust his daddy then. Probably Willie Boy, egghead, idiot, thought to play mind games, probably to distract the friends and media. It was the taking down of his flag. There's the laugh here, fools. All right, let's go to the next tweet. Okay. In a few minutes. Wow, I didn't know I had that much time. All right, so there's no comment on this one. These two together make sense. Same evil energy. This is Camilla, her visit at the Vatican, and this is Charles' image that was revealed. When was that? Was it last year or this year? Time flies, so I don't know. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next tweet. Oh, I just realized, is that a butterfly on the side of Charles? What does that mean? On his right shoulder. Let me pause for a second. I literally I've seen this image of Charles so many times, but never pay attention to this. It looks like a butterfly. Let me search something on Google. Okay, so this is what I type on Google. What does a butterfly means in a painting? In a painting, a butterfly commonly symbolizes transformation, change, and rebirth due to its metamorphosis from a caterpillar. It also represents beauty, freedom, and inferior nature of life due to its delicate form and brief lifespan. Additionally, butterfly can symbolize the soul with the Greek word psyche, meaning both. Could that be, you know what came to mind? Could that be the end of the monarchy? He'll be the last? That's what I'm thinking here. Especially here, change and rebirth. Okay, I don't know. I just wanted to share that thought with you since I was thinking about it. All right, so let's go to the next tweet. Okay, so there's that. If the news coming out of Windsor tonight is that Andrew is being banished to a previous colony, I'm never going to stop laughing. Someone's fake cancer may make an appearance to change the subject. This is the squad who knows the tactic of the UK. Why does my gut tells me that they'll announce he is moving into Fragmore just to add in a sprinkle of humiliation to Harry and Meghan. At this point, Harry and Meghan don't care about Fragmore anymore. Let's see, there's 10 comment underneath it. Sometimes fans are worse than the Rangers. Why would they humiliate the left? Okay, read my tweet again. For those saying, why will Harry and Meghan humiliated? Can you read? I didn't say they will feel humiliated. I said the move will be to humiliate Harry and Meghan. I don't think Harry and Meghan cares. Okay? Meaning that what she's saying, I understand what she's saying. Because they've been trying to attach Harry with Andrew. So by sending Andrew to Fragmore, they feel like this is them, the men in gray suit or the palace, okay? The palace, their mindset is for them to feel good about themselves. They will feel like that will be a humiliation for Harry and Meghan. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have their own life. They have their mansion in Montecito. They don't give a shit. Harry and Meghan have moved on. So I understand her point of view. Because the royal family, it's whatever they put in their head to make themselves feel good. So that, by doing that, will make them feel good. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan don't give a shit. Okay, what is that here? Van Diemen's land and colonies have suffered enough. I think it would be fitting if they sent him to the Falkland Island, both because it is literally on the other side of the world, and that was where he became a war hero. Very interesting. That's to comment. My cue his inability to sweat since his condition started when he was last there. I don't know anything about that. Yeah, I knew about the Falkland thing. I don't even think he did anything, but he was in the ship. They give him credit for that. He was definitely a war hero. Just goes to show previous military service doesn't preclude you from being a disgrace. But then again, look how they treat Harry. Let me read what's there. Bottom up. I think the big announcement is that they removed the flag with Andrew's coat of arms from a church. They called the press off. Nothing is happening while the king is out of the country. I read that some lady had offered her castle in Scotland because she thought it was more fitting for a prince than mere castle. These aristocrats all seem to be tarred with the same brush. I do hope it's to Scotland. I'm going to need to go popcorn shopping because we know the Scots once tend to be the dumping ground of royal trash. Okay, this is the thing I've been saying. At some point, it's not just Andrew. They start with Andrew, but what about the rest? The only one who is safe is Harry. I think it would be fitting if they sent him to the fuck. Okay, I just read this. Let's go to the next tweet. I have one more after this, and the last one is JTB's video. Okay, they left, and that trash family never been the same. All right, so this is Harry and Meghan. You have to wonder, Princess Diana died since Harry was 12, and for him to be not only the youngest of the adult, that was before him and William had kids, for him to be the only one to have the common sense to not participate in this barrage of nastiness that the UK is displaying. Okay, so there's that. If it was really that awful, why are they still using that tide? Oh my God. If they want nothing to do with, okay, I didn't save it. Let me see if I could find it. I'll respond to it. There's a tweet that I did, I think, yesterday or the day before, where I took some screenshot and put it there. If I find it, let me bookmark it to come back to this. Okay, and the dry, bitter, hostile, jealous faces sitting behind them. Their hatred knows no bounds. Okay, let's pause this. Yes, that family kick out the trash. Oh, if this is what they think is the trash, well, you are backward. All right, let's go to the next. Oops. Black. All right, let's go to the next tweet, and this is my last one. That's JTB. I don't remember what it was about. Okay, 621. Let's pause. Okay, Target is learning the hard way that performative progress has consequences. You can pull back on DEI, face a boycott, and then act surprised when the layoffs hit. Values aren't seasonal. Okay, I haven't paid too much attention to these things because it's like everything was written on the wall. Target's DEI rollback just backfired. The layoffs are the price of betrayal. When did you... Okay, the 24th. I thought that was old, but no, it was yesterday. Let's listen, and that'll be it.
Target's coronation as the poster child for corporate inclusion was once the envy of the retail world. After 2020, it pledged billions of Black-owned businesses, vowed supplier diversity, and promised representation that reflected the customers who kept it in business. For a moment, Target wasn't just a store. It was a statement. But that crown didn't slip. It was tossed aside. Earlier this year, Target quietly rolled back its DEI initiatives, dissolved diversity teams, and stepped away from the very equity programs that defined its post-2020 identity. The same company that once wrapped itself in the same language of progress now treats diversity as a liability. And now the fallout is here. Target just announced it's cutting 1,800 corporate jobs and eliminating another 800 open positions. A massive internal downsizing that comes as boycotts over its DEI retreat intensifies. And let's be clear, this isn't just about streamlining. It's the cost of betraying the very communities that made your brand a household name. When Target backed away from its equity commitments, it didn't just alienate activists, it alienated customers. The boycotts, the falling sales, the leadership shakeups, and now the layoffs are all connected. This is what happens when a company builds its reputation on inclusion, then abandons it for convenience. Michael Fidelki, the new CEO, calls it restructuring. But what he's really restructuring is trust. The complexity that's holding them back isn't too many layers of management, it's too little moral backbone. Target is learning in real time that performative allyship isn't sustainable. You can't profit from diversity when it's trending and then discard it when it's inconvenient. The layoffs are a consequence of lost loyalty. A direct reflection on the brand that forgot the power of its own promise. Because when you roll back progress, people roll back their dollars, and no amount of rebranding or restructuring can fix that.
They never had a moral standard from the get-go. You know, when you start something, okay, you create your value. Let's say, for instance, you're creating a business. You start your business with what you believe in, okay? With your moral values and whatever it is that you believe in and why you're creating this particular business. And you stand firm by it. And if it becomes successful, that's because of what you originally started the business with. So they never had any backbone regarding the DEI. They were just going with the wind. So what happened here is that the customers say, okay, if you're going with the wind, I'm going to keep my money. Unlike Costco had, even before people were started screaming for minimum wage, but they treat their employees with decency, a reasonable minimum wage. That is still envy of the country. And they stand by it. And then you have people who decided, okay, this is what you stand for. Since I'm not going to be shopping at, what's that place? Target, I'll create a membership and you have to pay for the membership. And then I'll shop at your retail. Okay? Even though they sell in bulk. So Costco is doing well because it stood by its value even though the wind was blowing opposite direction. It's almost during the... I covered. There's a video I have on PYTE regarding Adidas. I think I was talking about Run DMC, why they wore their shoes and all that. And I went back during the Olympics or whatever, why Adidas provided shoes for Jesse Owen and all that. Go to that video. Okay, this is the thing here. At the brink, in the midst of fire and hatred, and you see common decency stand right there to, you know, to go against injustice. Okay, so this is, I'm comparing Costco with Adidas in some shape or form. Go watch that video on PYTE. Let's see here, I forgot what I call it. I disagree. It wasn't quietly, it was loudly, and no one asked them. They volunteer. Let the RW shop there. It's whom they acquires to, but widely their dollars are replacing those they readily toss aside to prove they weren't woke. Alright? Say it louder. I love your reporting. The truth and nothing but the truth. Target lost the plot, haven't shopped there for 2 years. Alright? They were in a 4-year slump. Their financial struggles stem from conservative having enough, with the alphabet agenda being front and center during a simple Target run with their kids. Target tried to right that ship this year, but it wasn't enough. They had to shut down stores because black people were robbing them, not because they stopped DEI. Okay, I heard of, let's leave it as that. I don't know much about that, but let's leave it as that. So, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And don't forget to leave comment. And as you leave your comment, if it is making reference to anything that I send the video, please put the screenshot. So far, many of you have done it. I appreciate it. And you see, I have responded to it. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Vanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness, and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.